brings on stuff from Podcast Without Pretense from before times. As you know, I like the fact that you are always on the show. That way we don't go off the rails straight away.
Have you guys heard of Ingress yet? It's pretty awesome.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Strickland.
And I'm Eric Sandine.
And together, we're 2/3 of a Pokemon.
2/3, yeah.
2/3.
One of the smaller ones.
Yeah, probably like one that hasn't evolved yet.
Yeah.
Iyaz is taking the evening off, which means, for those who follow this show religiously, which has been more true than normal based upon the movies we've been watching recently, we will not be discussing the movie that Iyaz picked, Kindergarten Cop 2, because if he's not here, we sure as hell aren't going to waste our time on it.
Nope, going to put that off.
I have, however, picked what our next movie will be.
Oh, God.
Because it popped up in new movies added to Netflix. We will, after Kindergarten Cop 2, we will be watching Honey.
Oh, God, no. Really?
Oh, yes. Yep.
It's on there now?
Yep.
Jeez.
Look, if we can make it through Crossroads, it's not like it's glitter. It's not glitter.
So,
It's
I mean,
one step closer
I gotta
to
be
glitter.
honest. I'm like your crush with what's her name, the girl from Christian Mingle.
Lacey Chabert.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with watching Honey because I have a crush on Jessica Alba. Other than the fact that she's super religious right now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
I didn't know
something like
that.
I remember it coming out at some point that she was really either she was really religious or was just dumb. I can't remember which one it was.
Wow. You heard it here first. Eric confuses the qualities of being really religious and just dumb.
I really think there was a religious thing, though.
That's an amazing commentary from you, Eric. That's like something that would usually come out of my mouth.
It's true.
Well, I mean, all right, to be fair, hang on a second. Let me pull up her name because I don't remember the actress's name. I just remember I had a crush on her when I saw... did you ever see the movie The Descent?
Yes. Yeah, when it first came out, I think.
I loved the movie up to the point where the monsters are brought in. I thought that movie could have worked just as well without monsters.
Yeah.
Like it could have worked just fine with the idea of 5 women going into a cave system. 4 of them believe the cave system is one that's been thoroughly explored and they're just following in the tracks. The 5th one knows that she has picked an unmapped cave system because she thinks it's going to be a real adventure. Have the women versus the environment plus women versus themselves as it's revealed that they have been lied to. That would have been a phenomenal psychological thriller. But then there are monsters in it. Now the monsters are fine. Nothing wrong with them. They're creepy. But the movie to me was absolutely terrifying before the monsters ever showed up. Just the shots of them like trying to squeeze through incredibly narrow cracks and climb sheer surfaces. Anyway, the actress's name is Natalie Mendoza, who plays the chick who's betrayed the other 4 women. I saw her and I'm like, God, that woman is gorgeous. And she dicks over her friends, so she's my type already.
Yeah, right.
So Natalie Mendoza was a cast member of the amazingly ill-fated Broadway show Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark.
Wow. All right.
So did you remember hearing about that? Like just all the problems they had during their production?
I do not forget the biggest failure in Broadway history in recent memory.
Yeah, in recent memory. Like, there's some pretty big ones. Like Titanic was a pretty big failure. The biggest joke about Titanic is they had a real problem trying to make the ship sink on cue.
Right.
Which is beautiful. But yeah, so she was in Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark, and she was playing, I think, Ariadne, which is like the spirit of spiders or something in the play. And she suffered an injury during the early stages of that production. It may have even been when the show was just in previews, but a rope from the scenery came loose from its tackle, fell down and hit her in the head. And that weight from that distance, it gave her a concussion. She stuck with the production for about a week, and then she left the show. And I was following her on Twitter, and I even had a couple of exchanges with her. Super nice lady, but it almost all of her tweets turned out to be like fortune cookie style things to make you like feel positive, like positive energy type stuff. And after about a month of that, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
So I have two recent Twitter things that have annoyed me. Or one's awesome, the other one just annoys me. First of all, what's his name? Tazon Day? Followed me on Twitter.
Chocolate Rain.
I am super impressed. Or 2010 me would be super impressed by this news.
How many people does he follow in general?
295,000.
All right. So that tells you that you are a special little sunflower.
Right. Well, and it wasn't a follow back because I don't follow him. So, you know.
I had Tay Diggs follow me, and I had the same because I'm a Broadway fan.
You apparently and Randall both have Tay Diggs following you.
Well, when Tay Diggs followed me, I had that same reaction. Well, I had a genuine like, holy crap, Tay Diggs knows who I am? I love Tay Diggs. And then I looked at his, and he was like following 80,000 people. I went, oh,
yep.
Tay Diggs doesn't know who I am. Tay Diggs is looking for a follow back.
My favorite though was so my like Twitter annoyance was like one of these people that I follow who's like a business person and like a kind of a marketer person, posts all these like inspirational quotes all the time, but they're inspirational quotes on like nice backgrounds with pretty fonts and stuff like that, images, you know, and
kind of like the old inspirational posters and calendars.
And one day I clicked on one and I realized that the attribution to the quote was actually her. And I was like, whoa, wait.
Is she quoting herself?
Your own quotes in pretty images and then posting them? This doesn't make sense.
I mean, I would be lying if I said I've never been guilty of coming up to someone and saying, hey, listen to this funny thing I said.
Right. No, totally true. I've totally quoted myself. But what I have not done is put it on pretty backgrounds in a nice font and tweeted it out so that everybody looks at it.
Now, I've been known to make fake quotes attributed to fake people or fake quotes attributed to real people who definitely did not say that thing.
Also acceptable. You could make lots of fake quotes and attribute them to yourself. That's also funny.
Except that if you make a fake quote and you attribute it to yourself, aren't you technically quoting it? I'm pretty sure that's impossible to do, Eric. Now, if you take a real quote said by someone else and attribute it to yourself.
That's true. Also good.
You know.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, wait, this isn't how Twitter works. This isn't how it should work.
Yeah. Man, I wish I had kept track of all the weird stuff I've seen and have happened to be on Twitter. Because, I've got like 6,500 followers somewhere around in that neighborhood, which is a healthy.
You're not Iyaz famous, but.
No, I'm not Iyaz famous. For a long time I was, but I think I have a higher clout score than Iyaz does. But that's probably because.
Is that still a thing?
Not really, no. No, Clout, once Clout decided to no longer support perks, then people quickly lost interest in Clout. What, you mean I can't get free shit? I'm out.
Yeah. I think I got like free deodorant one time, and I was like, all right.
I got free dog food once, and something else, I forget. But it was like most of the time, like I got a few offers for movie tickets and stuff. I never took them up on it because it was like, it's so rare that I actually make it out to the movie theater. If it's not a movie I'm already planning on seeing, there's no point. You might as well save that comp ticket for somebody else. I get a lot of email these days from various companies, actually various PR firms working on behalf of a company, that offered to send me sample products.
Oh yeah.
And I've gotten into the habit now where I just write back and say, hey, How Stuff Works doesn't do product reviews, so just take me off that list because you're wasting your time. You might as well focus on people who actually do reviews. It's not that I think poorly about your product or service. It's just I literally have no venue to review it.
Right.
It would be disingenuous of me to accept that. So, man, to be upstanding and honest. I was definitely not one of those YouTubers that Warner Brothers paid to give good reviews for their games. Did you see that story?
I did. I don't even remember what games it was about, but yeah.
Yeah, there was Mordor. It was Shadow of Mordor. That was the big one.
That's right.
Shadow of Mordor. When it came out, it turned out that Warner Brothers had paid several YouTubers to give positive review feedback on the game, but Warner Brothers did not disclose that these were paid endorsements, and some of the YouTubers didn't really endorse it either, and some of them only put the revelation in the description of the video, which is problematic because when that video is shared at other locations, that doesn't show up.
You don't see the comments, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big issue. The FTC got involved, and I'm like, wow. I'm just glad I'm not in that world. I don't have to worry about that particular side of the business.
That's true.
It means I miss out on free stuff, though.
Yeah, and getting paid.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid by them either.
I can pretty much guarantee you, if anybody pays me to review something, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That's pretty straightforward.
This review is sponsored by the product I'm reviewing.
Right.
It's amazing. It's like a puppy wrapped in a rainbow, wrapped in lots of money.
It's like a koala bear took what is it? A koala bear threw up in my brain? Damn it. There's a C-Lab quote in there somewhere.
Yeah. So today I ran into a bona fide animation celebrity, but it's someone I know, so I guess it doesn't really count. I ran into Lucky Yates, who's the voice actor who provides the voice for Krieger on Archer.
Oh, nice.
But he's also a performer at a local theater that I go to all the time, and he's a puppeteer. So I also know him through his puppeteering work. My sister's a puppeteer as well.
Intersections for everything for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So he happened to be at Pont City Market, which is the building that the How Stuff Works office is in. Right. So I went and just ran into him as I was walking through the market part of the building, and chatted with him for a while. But that was kind of fun. Just running, didn't expect to see him. And
I saw you had a lot of nerds catching Pokemon in your office.
Yeah, not even How Stuff Works people. The How Stuff Works people are largely, they don't care. I mean, there's like maybe there's maybe two or three other people in my office who are actually playing, but the people working for Twitter and MailChimp, they're playing it, and they're on the same floor as we are. And so sometimes I have to elbow my way through people trying to capture a Bulbasaur while I just need to go to the crapper.
Yeah, I haven't run into any large groups yet. I'm kind of waiting for that. I mean, because I work in San Francisco, so there must be people playing everywhere. But the problem is, you don't have to be in a large group because they're like the stops. Literally, San Francisco's just covered in them. If you're in a building in San Francisco, you are next to a Pokestop.
There's a Pokestop that's attached to our building, but the problem is our building is so huge that where the Pokestop is on like the opposite side of where my office is. So I'd actually have to go walking to get to the Pokestop. I've only played a little bit. I think I'm like level 4.5. I haven't even gotten to level 5 yet. And we were mentioning before the show that you have one of your Pokemon up to 300 CP, something like that?
I did just now because I didn't realize you could upgrade them. But I literally just got to 5 today. And it seems like you hit 5, and then they give you nice ones.
The highest rank I have is 88, and that's a star U.
Yeah.
So I was feeling pretty cocky about my 88. Then I hear 300, and I'm like, well, shit.
I'm like almost certain that's how it happens, though. Is like you hit 5, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna start battling now. Here's a nice one. Here's another nice one."
The problem I have with that is the same problem I have with Ingress, which is that unless you get in at the beginning and you're really active at the beginning, you are left behind so quickly that you are demoralized and demotivated to play.
Yeah, so when I started playing Ingress, I started pretty early. Like I was on the beta. So like I hit 8 pretty well. And then but the nice thing about this was back when the level cap was 8. But the nice thing about that was then I could convince my friends to come, and I'd be like, no, I'll take care of everything, and I'll just give you everything. I'm not sure if you can. I guess you could do that in Pokemon too, but they're giving it like. It seems really fast to level up, and it seems like they give you a lot of stuff. But I haven't started going to the gyms or anything yet, so.
Yeah, I've only casually played. For one thing, I have not been taking my walk between home and work that frequently. My wife's been giving me rides, and I've taken Lyft home a couple times because it's just gotten so hot and humid that an hour-long walk
is July in Atlanta. Who the hell wants to walk anywhere?
It's brutal. It is brutal. Yeah. And I've got to wear a hat because if I don't, then I'm going to get sunburned on the top of my head. So that just makes it even more hot. And yeah, plus the last few times I tried doing it, the servers weren't staying stable enough for me to really take advantage of it. And so then after like halfway, I'd start switching over to listening to music or podcasts or something.
It seems like it's been okay today and yesterday. Yeah. But like
this would have been a couple days ago or last week, yeah.
But yeah, when I first did it was horrible. But yeah.
It's pretty frustrating, but what team did you declare for, or have you yet?
I think you have to do that when you go to a gym. So I have not done that yet. I know that there are 3 teams, and I know that they have different personalities that they are supposed to take. That's about all I know.
There's Team Mystic, Team Valor, and Team Instinct.
Right.
And those are blue, red, and yellow.
Trust your instincts, and Valor is people that dress up in fancy clothes, and Mystic I'm not sure about.
Mystic's all my loser friends, so I have a feeling I'll be Mystic because all my loser friends are Mystic. Yeah. I love you, loser friends. I don't really think you're losers.
It's one of those
Team Mystic.
Where, like, all right, there we go.
A rare intrusion into Podcast Without Pretense.
Thanks, Uncast. That may have made my mind up, though, because honestly, like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, am I supposed to ask all my friends what team they're on? Because I don't really want to.
Be a leader, not a follower. Go Team Mystic. Oh, man. All right, so quick question. Since we can't talk about the movie yet, have you tried to watch any of Kindergarten Cop 2 yet?
I haven't started it, no. I thought about it yesterday, and then Iyaz emailed us, and I was like, oh, good, never mind.
I started it.
Yeah, well.
I did not get it. It's not cringingly awful, but it's exactly what you think it would be, which is it's an unnecessary sequel. Yeah. And it's a sequel only in the sense that it's following the same general formula. It's not a sequel as in it's actually connected to the first film, as far as I can tell.
I get Kindergarten Cop, like, not actually confused with, but for some reason I think about them exactly on the same level as Mr. Mom, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Every time I think about Kindergarten Cop, that's what I think about, and I don't necessarily know why.
I thought Mr. Mom was Michael Keaton.
Was it Michael Keaton? What was? Because
I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking about the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger gives birth.
That's what I'm. Yeah. What the hell is that called?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong. I'm terrible at names.
You're
Junior.
definitely right about Mr. Mom.
Yeah. It's Junior.
Junior. It is Junior. Yep.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, Mr. Mom, I'm surprised you even quote that. That's before your time. I remember Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton. Yeah, Junior. I remember Kindergarten Cop because it's not a tumor. It's that one.
Yep.
And I remember it was fairly, entertaining for the time. I can tell you that the humor in Kindergarten Cop 2, as far as I've gotten, which is not very far at all, keep that in mind.
Yeah,
is pretty lame. It also feels like it belongs like if this movie had been shot right after Kindergarten Cop, maybe it would fit in better. Like it's that kind of humor where you're sitting like, 90s humor.
Oh. Yeah,
that
makes sense.
Back when we thought that was funny. So, but yeah, I mean it's no Honey.
Well, I mean,
as far
Honey
I guess.
Is from what I've read in a league of its own.
Yeah, so I look forward to. I don't look forward to watching it. I look forward to hearing you guys talk about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's my next plan. Like I was gonna go and dredge all the low budget horror again and see if I could find another one that sounded interesting or ludicrous. But when that popped up, I was like, I'm not going to find any horror movie as terrifying as this. So,
Honey has a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Not the lowest percentage.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty bad.
Love Wedding Marriage had a 0%, as I recall.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done worse.
To be fair, though, I have to keep reminding myself this. A low percentage on Rotten Tomatoes does not necessarily mean that one movie is worse than another, right? Like if you have a movie that has a 30% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and another one that's a 45% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't automatically mean the 30% movie is worse. It just means fewer critics who saw the movie liked that one versus the other one.
Yeah.
But it may be that the 45% one is way worse than the 30% one. So I mean, I always have to remind myself that. What's that? What are you wondering?
Honey 2 is also on Netflix.
I didn't know there was a sequel.
There is. It has a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Who's in Honey 2?
No one I know. I'm trying.
We might have to. I mean. I don't know if I want to pull the same shit that we did for Left Behind, where we went straight to the sequel and didn't bother watching the original. But maybe we need to. Oh man, I'll have to think about that. You've given me something to think about over the next week.
George Alexander. All the top builds are men, which is strange.
Mr. Honey.
I believe the main actress is Kimberly Brooks, who has been in a lot of movies I haven't heard of. So, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, but she's from Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll find out about that later, as well as Kindergarten Cop 2, when we're able to reconnect with Iyaz. Have you seen any movies or have you started watching anything else since our last podcast?
I watched the night of the new HBO series. Episode 1 was good.
Yeah?
That's about it. Yeah. Yeah, crime drama. A little long, but mostly pretty good.
Okay.
I don't know what movies I've watched. We watched like crappy... Oh, I watched The Witch.
Did you like it? I still haven't seen it. Don't spoil it for me.
I mean...
Not for you, huh?
It was fine. I got
all of my coworkers tell me I have to see that movie.
Yeah, so like it got super high reviews. It's really cool as a period piece, but honestly, I and Liz just kind of ended up being a little bored after a while.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, some slow-paced movies.
We could see a lot of it. And the funny thing is, it's slow-paced, but it's only an hour and a half long. So
Yeah.
like you know that it's wrapping up soon, but you're just like, okay, so let's just get to the last 20 minutes where all this takes care of itself.
Yeah, I depending on how it's handled, I like a lot of slow paced horror movies
Yeah.
and thrillers and that kind of stuff, because if you can take the time to ratchet up the discomfort or tension,
Yeah.
I think it's really incredible. But it's a delicate thing. It's very easy to
I think
wander
that's
in from
part of-
deliberate to boring.
Yeah, I think that's like part of where it lost up, which was like for both of us, the tension didn't seem to be like getting further and like mounting.
Got it.
It just seemed
Got
like,
it.
all right, let's get to the end of this, and then you get to we got to the end, and we're like, okay, done. So I mean, it's worth a watch. It's an hour and a half. Yeah, I mean,
I'll probably rent it. I mean, it's one of those. I've been waiting for an opportunity to watch it because I know my wife won't want to see it. So I need to
Yeah.
pick a time where essentially I've got like an evening to myself and I can turn all the lights off and watch it, because I like to have a nice atmospheric experience.
yeah.
In the meantime, I mean, I've been watching. I finally watched season 2 of Kimmy Schmidt. Because
Oh yeah. That's good.
I mean, I've just been waiting around forever, and Becca and I sat down to watch it. We loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I really like season 2 a lot. I liked the relationship dynamic of Titus and Mikey. I thought that was adorable. I loved it. And then we watched the first episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which is phenomenal. Have you seen any of that before?
I don't think so. No.
All right. Do you know what the premise is?
Oh, this is a TV show.
Yes,
No.
a TV show. So
Yeah.
the premise is there's a young lady who's at summer camp. She falls in love with this guy named Josh. When summer camp is over, Josh essentially breaks up with her. She goes on to her regular life. She clearly loves musical theater, but she's forced into essentially becoming a lawyer. Her mom is a domineering, like stereotypical Jewish mother. And then she, while working at New York, on the day where she is offered the position of junior partner with her firm, she sees Josh, the guy that she had been dating back at summer camp, and finds out that he had been living in New York for the last 8 months, but is now moving back to California because he can't hack it in New York. So she spontaneously decides to quit her job and move to California. And she is telling herself she's doing it because she wants to be happy, and she hears that everyone in California is happy, and she just wants to be happy, and it has nothing to do with Josh. It's just that Josh also happens to be there. And it's her neuroses and her anxiety are on an epic scale, and it's a musical.
Oh, it's a musical.
Yeah, she sings a couple of songs in every episode.
That's awesome. All right, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so I watched that, and then I watched the first few episodes of Broadchurch, which I had never seen, and finally started watching. And that show is incredible, but man, is it upsetting.
Yeah, I haven't watched that.
It's good.
Wait,
It's a good drama.
Yeah. We started watching because I didn't know what it was. We started watching The Returned in French, which we didn't know was in French when we started it, and then had to finish it. So we finished like episode 1, and we haven't done episode 2 yet, but that's actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it if you haven't watched it. Apparently there's also an English version, but now we've started watching the French version, and I'm going to bet it's probably better.
Well, that's like, Grace Point is the American version of Broadchurch.
Right.
And I haven't watched any of that at all. And this was one of those things where I kept on hearing it was great, but I didn't know a whole lot about it other than it was like a murder mystery in a small town, and the investigation ends up uncovering a lot of ugly stuff between neighbors that wasn't really apparent beforehand. So I started watching it, and first I was like, wow, I'm so glad I don't have a kid, because if I had a kid and I was watching this, I would be unbelievably upset. And then as it went on, I'm like, yeah, this is getting really nasty, but it's amazing. It's good.
It's David Tennant and Olivia Colman. Yeah,
Yes.
this has totally popped up, and I just put it off every time. Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
It is worth seeing. Yeah, if you're in the mood to watch kind of like a procedural, really dramatic procedural, I also recommend putting closed caption on because some of the accents are a little thick and they talk fairly fast. So even as an Anglophile, I had to have the closed captions on. There were points where, David Tennant, he's Scottish and he's speaking in his normal accent, not the English accent he used for Doctor Who. And once in a while, when he really is on a tear, I'm like, whoa, I have no idea what he said. But he really meant it.
Yep.
So that's what I've been watching so far. I also haven't seen any movies. A friend of mine went and saw Central Intelligence last night. And she said that was an enjoyable comedy. That's the one with The Rock in it as a CIA agent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she said that it was.
Watched Hail Caesar, which I think I should.
That's okay. I saw that. That was one of the many movies I watched while I was on the flight to the UK when I went on my cruise. Hail Caesar was cute. I think that it's like a bunch of separate vignettes that go throughout the entire movie. It's one of those style movies. It's not so much like a single narrative that goes throughout, but lots of little stories. And I feel like the best scene happens early in the movie and nothing quite lives up to that scene for the rest of the film. And that scene is where the head of the movie studio, essentially, or at least the guy who's the general manager of the movie studio, is holding a meeting with some religious leaders, including a Catholic minister, Greek Orthodox, there's a Jewish rabbi, and there's, I think, one more, but I can't remember. Anyway, he's having this meeting because Hail Caesar is a religious epic, and he wants to make sure that theologically they're on good ground. And that sequence where they're giving notes to him is the best scene in the movie, in my opinion, and it happens early on. So you never quite have a scene that reaches that level of absurdity, unfortunately. But it's a good film. It's just uneven.
It was on Netflix or something. Maybe not. I don't know. I think I looked at renting it when we rented The Witch instead. But
yeah, I don't think that one's available for streaming anywhere other than like renting it. I mean, it might be, but I haven't seen it anywhere.
Have you watched Ghostbusters yet?
The new one? No, I haven't seen it. It comes out officially this weekend.
Oh, I thought it was out. Oh, it's this weekend. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it comes out. The official opening day is the 15th, but I know there's been pre-screenings and stuff. I mean, I plan on seeing it. I was down on the movie for a long time, not because there are women in it. I think that's fine. I just didn't like the whole reboot thing. I would have preferred it to be a sequel rather than a reboot.
I didn't know that was the case. But all right.
That it was a reboot?
Yeah, I thought it was a sequel, and I was excited.
No, the way this movie works is it goes ahead and assumes the first two films never happened.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah, so it's because if they didn't do that, you couldn't have a sequence where the characters discover that ghosts are real, because ghosts would have everyone would know ghosts were real.
Right.
And so I get the reasoning, but something just strikes me as wrong, taking a movie that is so beloved as Ghostbusters and say, all right, in this universe that never happened, but here's the same story, just with women.
But here's the same story.
Yeah. But I mean, that was the only reason I was really down on it, was because I really wanted it to be a sequel and not a reboot. Because I thought that it could have been brilliant. I had no problem with the fact that they were women in the main roles. And also, like, the previews I've seen, the humor just isn't my brand of humor. At least the humor that's been on display in the previews, but
the previews haven't really enticed me too much to go watch it yet. But
yeah. Well, and I'm old and I'm stupid, and the humor I like is not the humor of today's films. And sometimes I'll see a movie that's made, like a current movie that's made, and I'm like, oh, I like this humor. But a lot of it, I'm just like, it's just not my brand of humor. It's not like it's bad. It just doesn't appeal to me personally. But my hope is that when I go see the movie, that I'll be pleasantly surprised. The early reviews have been largely positive. So I have hope that when I see the movie, the previews were not really indicative of the film overall, and that I'll just have a good time. That's my hope.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Rotten Tomatoes has it at 75%, so it can't be horrible.
Especially considering that there are people who are determined to hate that movie no matter what the quality of the film is. Yeah. And, I can kind of like, I understand that some people have the same feeling I do, in that a reboot kind of just sticks in their craw and they don't really like it. Yeah. I think I can get over that. I think some people can't. And this always makes me think of movies that I would love to reboot, like a film that I would love to just say all the previous movies in that particular franchise don't really exist. Forget about them.
Right.
They're not germane to this, and start all over. And the franchise I always cite as what would be my number one choice, saying let's start from scratch and forget all the stuff that's come before. Highlander.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That seems reasonable to me. Yep.
Because Highlander could have been an amazing franchise if it had been handled properly, but the problem was the first movie was not designed to have a sequel. Yeah. So having a franchise based off the first movie was problematic from the beginning.
Right.
But that's why I would want to start that one over. But yeah, Ghostbusters is not one, just because I thought the first film was so strong.
Yeah. I mean,
but who knows?
Yeah, it'll probably be good. It seems like it's going to be good. Probably enjoy it.
lot of people like it. So my hope is I can put my bias aside and just enjoy it for what it is, and have fun. I don't want to spend money to be grouchy in a theater and be predetermined that I'm not going to like this movie, damn it. That is lame. I don't want to do that. So here's hoping I can get over my lame hangups.
You'll probably be able to do that. And if not, you'll just rant about it later.
Yeah, it'll be fodder for a future episode of Podcast Without Pretense.
Right. At least we give you an outlet.
We have to remind our viewers and listeners, the Streamy Award nominations are open. So please nominate
for Best Podcast of 2014.
Yeah, if you can nominate Podcast Without Pretense as Best Podcast of 2014, we'd really appreciate it. I know that we claim it, but it'd be nice to have like some documentation to back it up.
Something that says it.
And if you can't write that in, just say Best Podcast of all time ever or something along those lines.
That works. Yeah, you don't have to do a specific year because all time encompasses 2014. So at least that makes that valid.
Right. Yeah. And if worst case scenario, if even that does not strike you as being fair, as saying Podcast Without Pretense is the best podcast of all time, at least say Podcast Without Pretense is the best podcast not called Night Attack.
All right. Yeah. Works.
I mean, you got to set your goals to be at an achievable level.
Yeah. I feel like we can win really specific categories.
Right?
Yeah.
Best endorsement of Comcast.
Right.
As we week after week, I'm amazed that I haven't had my signal drop yet. It's just, of course, that's just inviting it to happen now. But the fact that it's been going. So I had a technician come out. I had them check the lines. They were getting some signal fluctuations. They checked all the way down to where the signal's coming in from to the house, and found that the fluctuations were there too. So it's not the wiring in my house, which is I'm thankful for that because I don't want to have to redo that wiring. But it's not the wiring in the house. So they put in some rubber stoppers to make sure no water was getting in and shorting things out. And they gave me a new modem just in case the old modem was a problem. And already we're getting to the point where I'm having to reboot that modem multiple times a day, sometimes as many as half a dozen or more. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to have to call them again and just say, listen, here's the problem. We had a technician come out. Here's what the technician found. The problem is still happening. What are you going to do about it? Because for serious. On days when I'm working from home, I'm having to reboot that modem multiple times, and that is not very conducive to getting a lot of shit done.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't think I've ever heard of it that bad. That's pretty bad.
And I kept thinking, like, maybe it was the wire, maybe the actual cable running through my house is the problem. But according to the guy who came out last time, that wasn't it, because there are no splitters anymore. It's a direct line from the outdoors to the box at my house, through my house to the modem. I don't even have a splitter from the wall to go to the cable box. It's just direct to the modem. And still I'm having these issues. So Google Fiber can't get here soon enough. They're opening up an office at Pont City Market where I work. So
you'll be able to bug them every day.
Yep. As soon as that office is open, I will be strolling in with a song in my heart and a smile on my face to say, hey, when are you guys going to be able to get to my neighborhood? Are there just tell me if there are plans to get to my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Just tell me. If there aren't plans to get to my neighborhood, I would rather know than to keep my hopes pinned on something that's never going to happen.
Right. How hard do I need to fight Comcast right now?
Right. Does there need to be a Thunderdome situation? Because I will put on the harness and I'll take on Master Blaster right now. Yeah. It's not been great. Like I was on Tech News Today this week on Monday, which by the way was tough because there's like no news in the tech world right now.
It's the middle of the summer.
It's the worst, right? So Jason Howell, who had me on, was like, Jonathan, I'm so sorry, man. There's like nothing to talk about. And like, yeah, there's two topics. There's Tesla Autopilot and there's Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's about what you got right now.
But I was like, I'll come on anyway, man. You got to have a guest host. I'll do it. So I did it once last week, and I did it from my house. And it was okay, but we did have a point where I had to reboot Skype because my signal dropped out. So the second time I did it from work, which meant that I had to be at work till after 8 o'clock because they're West Coast, I'm East Coast. They start at 4 p.m. Pacific. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. And Leo was going long. So I gotta have this internet problem fixed so that I don't have to be at my office. After 6 p.m., they shut off the air conditioning in that building.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to be there. I want to be here.
Yeah. What's roughly hilarious about that is my building is the exact opposite. Sometime around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the heat turns off, and it is now 20 degrees in the office. Like, you can see everyone in my office. No, office, middle of the morning, perfectly fine. As the day progresses, you slowly see people putting on sweaters. Yeah. Makes no sense. We've called the HVAC guys a bunch of times, and they're just like, yeah, it's fixed now. Nope, still not fixed. Why is it freezing?
I'm pretty certain that the thermostats that are in our office are lying to us. They're pacifiers. Because, it says like, oh, it's 72 degrees. I'm like, man, it feels so much warmer to me than 72. And then there was one day where it felt cold to me, and I like it cold. Like I like 70 degrees is pushing it at my house. Like I put it there because otherwise my wife is too cold, but I like it cold in the house. And I was starting to feel chilly in the office, and all the thermostats were saying it was 73. I'm like, bullshit. There's no way it's 73 degrees in here. And yet when we had someone come out, they're like, oh no, my thermometer says it is 73. This is all legit. You're just crazy. I'm like, there's no way. Like either they're lying or something really crazy is going on with my blood sugar. Where I'm like, oh. Well, since Iyaz isn't here, since we don't have a movie to talk about, we generally wrap these up fairly early in those cases. Plus, I've got to shoot 4 episodes of Forward Thinking tomorrow, so I should probably get some rest. Which means we should probably look into the future, right, Eric? Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
No, I got nothing. Go ahead.
All right, here we go then. What will happen in another episode later on with Podcast Without Pretense. God, Iyaz, thank goodness you're back.
I painted another picture.